Hello and welcome to Game Changing with me, Tim Thornton.
And me, Chris Sheldon.
In this podcast, we chat to various luminaries from the music world who we've met along the way.
About those key moments in their careers where the stars aligned and it all started to go right.
Bands, singer-songwriters, engineers, producers, mixers. We love them all here at the Game Changing Podcast HQ. But what about something truly unconventional? What about an episode featuring that peerless polymath, Anna Meredith? All right then. I met Anna back in those heady old days before the lockdown, when getting on the bus and going somewhere for fun was a thing. In this case, I went to Anna's nice little studio in the bowels of Somerset House, London, where we chatted about making her visionary albums, Varmints and Fibs, and how she travelled from being an incredibly promising young contemporary composer to being the captain of a globe-trotting electronic classical rock band signed to Moshi Moshi and demanded for festivals and concerts the world over. We joined the discussion when I just presented Anna with a copy of Fink's 2013 live album that we recorded with Amsterdam's Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra. I specifically wanted to give you this one because this is when we did a gig with the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra in Amsterdam in 2012, so quite a while ago. But it still remains the best gig I've ever done ever kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
I mean, just diving straight in fact, that there was, unfortunately, there was a couple of songs in the gig that didn't make it onto the album.
Right.
And the reason I mention it is because there was the first one that we did was a piece called The Short Ride in a Fast Machine, which is by
John Adams.
There you go. And John Adams was the first person I thought of when I heard your stuff.
Right.
And I mean, I heard it on Stuart McConey's Freak Zone.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought, oh, has she been listening to John Adams?
Right.
Have you? Did you?
I mean, I know John Adams,
right,
but I don't listen to any music. Like, I deliberately don't. So I know lots of John Adams, and probably, I'm not like in a vacuum. But it's not something I sort of directly, reference.
Right. So you say you don't listen to any music?
Yeah.
What, at all?
No, not like, I mean, I'm not like, as I say, I'm not like plugging my ears, but I don't seek any music out.
Have you always done that?
The last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, so, I'll go to friends' gigs, but yeah, I'm more like in a little composition vacuum where I write a lot better if I'm just doing it under my own steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We mentioned when you said you thought you might have met me. We have only met on social media and barely, if at all.
Okay.
What happened was that I did Huffington Post review of Varmints.
Did you? Oh, thank you.
No, it's all right. And I'll just read you what I wrote.
Okay.
Well, the pertinent bit anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just a short one. I know very little of the background to Varmints.
Yeah.
But there's a made-up story, as in I made it up, which pops into my mind whenever I listen to this madcap fairground ride of a record. Excuse me for this description, classical composing wunderkind Anna Meredith is hanging out in a cafe somewhere, and on comes an Everything Everything record, or a Dutch Uncle's record, or even a Foles record. She knocks back her coffee, thinks, you know what, I can out-math these slackers, pops into a nearby studio, and a year later emerges with Varmints under her arm. Am I anywhere near the truth? Who knows? So
good, I do remember that.
You did?
Yeah.
So can you remember what your response was?
Did I reply?
You linked to the review, and you said, Do you know the origin story of varmints is absolutely true?
I mean, I don't know if that's quite true. Why would I say that? Anyway, but yeah.
Well, I think you're entering into the spirit of it, probably.
Yeah. Well, thanks for writing.
That's all right. So, needless to say, it's not quite true.
No, because I guess I wouldn't have been thinking... one, I suppose I don't think what I'm doing is very mathy. I know that it seems that way to other people, but it's definitely not like music from the brain. It feels quite instinctive to me. Like the actual nuts and bolts of it is not like it's not academic at all, really. And yeah, the desire to like make band stuff has been like evolving tediously, slowly.
Right.
I was in bands when I was a teenager, then got much more into like the whole classical thing, and was being a composer for most of my 20s, and then. Yeah, about 10-ish years ago, just sort of started to be a little bit frustrated that I wasn't performing, and that obviously as a classical composer, you write music for other people to play, and if you don't have any commissions, or if you don't have commissions you like, most stuff's only played once. Pieces are played once, there's quite often no recordings or a record of it, so you can spend like months and months and months writing a piece that's done once, and it's just done. It's quite depressing. And I think just that over time started to feel like just a bit like I didn't want that to be the only thing I did. And I guess making electronics, you can be quite self-sufficient. You can do the whole thing yourself and don't involve anybody else. So I started doing little things from there, and I kind of did 2 EPs before Varmints. So kind of baby stepped my way into it, and then making a band and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of but yeah, even it still felt like a big leap of faith. Turning down a ton of work, finding a ton of money, investing a lot of money, and to make it happen, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because having seen you live, I saw you. I've only seen you once. I saw you at Visions Festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of thought it probably would be like this, but it was very bandy. It's essentially like seeing a indie rock band,
right?
But that plays this particular music, and it seemed as if possibly you'd even conceived it to be performed by a band such as that, rather than the other way around. Definitely
no. I mean, like Phibbs' new album, I have written thinking of those players because we played so much together now and toured so much that I know how they play, and I know what stuff we'll have fun playing. I was trying not to think too much about how things would work for live when I was writing. I was just trying to think of good, strong stuff, and whilst always having the colours of tubas and cellos and guitars and clarinets and stuff that I knew I could draw on if I needed to. So but not feeling too constrained by that. Like I always knew that the heart of this music is electronic.
Right. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So was Varmints done by the same band?
Some of them, some are like newer, or some changing of people, but this current guy has been like consistent for about 4 years now.
Okay. And you've seen the guy Jack Ross, right? Did he? Have I got this right? Did he produce Phibbs?
No, I did the production.
Okay.
But he produced the recording, so he did all the editing. Depends on when producing some of those weird words, isn't it?
Sure. Especially for your music,
I think so. No, so I mean, in terms of like. Yeah, I suppose really what you mean by produced. He did the painstaking, laborious work of editing every cello take and vocal take and stitching it all together and all that stuff. But electronics, there's nobody else like working on the electronics.
Understood. Okay, but Varmints. I mean, what basically I'm getting this off. Because we have a kind of focus on producers as well. Right. As a podcast, I'm trying. It's always interesting to see who produces it. And Varmints, I was pretty sure you'd done all.
I think we were trying to find a phrase to try and for Jack, and to try and credit him somehow, because he worked. He did months of work. And if we just were like. So we found this, and then recording produced by rather than record. So rather than record, or rather than Phibbs is produced by. So it says Anna. Phibbs is written and produced by Anna. The recording is produced by. So that's a distinction we came up with. But
that's cool.
I have no idea if it's clear or not. But
well, it works for you though, doesn't it? Because I mean, it's a bit like when I always think of the Blur songwriting credits. They have this weird thing where it's song by Damon Albarn, music by Blur.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, in other words, he sat in a room with an acoustic guitar or piano or whatever and come up with the basic thing and the words and the melody, and then they've turned it into
all the elements. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I'm always fascinated by how people split the PRS
Yeah,
check.
yeah. No,
You
it's
know.
difficult, isn't it? And
Well, yeah, we've got crazy percentages and all
have
that.
you uneven ones?
Oh, completely uneven, but worked out meticulously.
Right.
We sit down and we go, right, who did that, and who came up with that, and who came up with that bit, and then we get this kind of three-way, but sometimes it can be 86.2%.
And is it awkward?
No.
Really?
In fact, because we do this, it
Yeah.
makes it less awkward.
Yeah.
If we didn't do it, if we just went, let's just do 50, 25, 25,
right,
then it would be awkward. You know? But no, we love our songwriting, split.
Right.
You don't have that problem, I guess.
Well, no, I want to give, the others do have a little tiny bit. I mean, my publishing is that it's not actually that flexible. I don't have that much to play with in terms of percents, but the others do have small percents because I'm writing the instrumental, even the electronic parts and the songs, instructions, the lyrics are on me, but the guitar parts are written with Jack. So my credit on the thing is written and produced by Anna, guitar parts written with Jack, drum parts written with Sam, and then under that extra creative input, I even think I put that line for Sam and Jack, which was them sitting agonising over some overall stuff, and then recording produced by them. So it's quite wordy, but it was just everyone. All of them have had input, definitely a minimum, into their own part.
I mean, the guitar sounds quite authored in a way. It sounds like he's kind of, of all of them, that's the one I'm sort of thinking is probably him coming up with various
bit of kind of mix. Most of the time I'm singing a guitar line, and or notating. He's reading it.
Okay. So he reads, does he?
Yeah,
they all
read.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all very.
Does the drummer read as well?
Yeah, he's more of a percussionist, really.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He's great, your drummer.
He's really great. Yeah.
He's my wife turned to me halfway through the gig and said, "He's got great hair."
He does have great hair. Just met him for lunch just now, so he's.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But so they're all classical. We all met we've all come through music conservatoires and met after that sort of stuff. But Jack, guitar, so occasionally I've said what would fit along with, and he has had some of the more textural stuff, but any big melodic lines I would have written probably.
And did they have any part in the Four Seasons thing?
No.
Okay, so that was Scottish ensemble?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, actually.
Thanks.
That's
really nice live. If you ever see live, it's so nice.
Oh, right. Did you do much of it?
Yeah, we've done it a few times, and I'm doing it for a month in Australia, which would be great this summer. But it's so when it's live, you sit in this room where there's some stools in the middle and there's giant screens all around, which my sister's watercolours, and the players stand around you, and the electronics are all surrounded electronics, and the players kind of move around, and it's just really kind of intense. It's a really nice thing. So we've done quite a few performances, but it's quite an expensive show. So we did in Japan a few months ago, which was brilliant. Really good. Yeah.
Is it? Where did you go? Sorry,
Japan.
Oh, okay. You went with them. Right.
Yeah.
So how is that a full? That's not a full orchestra.
That's a string orchestra.
String orchestra. Okay.
Yeah, so I do stuff like the Vivaldi Four Seasons is quite standard repertoire for them. They asked, well, not that their artistic director asked me to do this piece that's half me, half
right.
Vivaldi.
Okay. Because I've been A-B'ing it with other versions of the Four Seasons.
Right. Of the original Four Seasons.
Yeah. I'm not. I must admit, I'm not educated in classical.
Yeah, but it's not like Max Richter has done he's reimagined the Four Seasons. Other people have done stuff where they've remixed it or whatever. I haven't listened to those records, but I know that they exist. And people have done their own thing.
Well, I went for the sort of oldest, the Four Seasons that my mother would have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I found yours. I liked it because having heard Varmints at that point, it sounded there was a lot of attack.
It's a lot of energy, right?
Right. Is that was deliberate? Though,
they spent, even though, because it kind of goes me Vivaldi the whole way through, they spent a ton of time trying to say, okay, how can we, we finish Anna's piece playing with tons of energy or with a really metallic sound, how can we carry that into, how can it feel like it's an echo of that into this? So they sort of started from, they didn't just go, they would have played the Four Seasons a billion times, and it was really nice that they sort of started from scratch to think about ways to play it that made the whole thing feel a bit more connected. And there's lots of movements that are chopped up a little bit, things don't start in the right place, and I scrap some movements altogether.
Right. Okay.
Be done with it.
Yeah.
Scrap it.
And do you think that translated into how it was engineered as well? Did it get mic'd up in a different way to how?
Maybe. I mean, I can't remember how we recorded it. I mean, it was all done binaurally.
Right.
And
because it sounded quite kind of meaty, the sound.
I think I did say, yes, I did when I was there for the mixing, and I did say that, I think it should feel like a pop record.
Yeah.
I think it should feel loud, and I want it to feel like intense.
Sure,
and don't remember if that was the actual miking or the mixing afterwards, but
I mean, the reason I thought miking was because you can hear quite a lot of the business, if you know what I mean.
Right,
sort of
like
almost,
and
almost shuffling, maybe even shuffling on seats and things like that, which I quite liked.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember that being I have to say, I don't remember that being a purposeful thing, but definitely we would have wanted something that didn't feel too detached and polished. It would have been like wanting things that felt like right in your grill.
Because it's quite Four Seasons has I mean, again, from my layman's point of view with classical, it has a sort of slightly bad rep sometimes.
Yeah, I was horrified when they asked me to do it. Or just like, it's so famous. You hear it on hold. You hear it
exactly
all the
what
time.
I was going to say.
And I was, the idea. It's almost like someone asked me to make a poster that had to incorporate the McDonald's logo. It's like, how do you musically sit alongside something that's it's like, and I was thinking, how the fuck am I gonna do this? I just couldn't. But in the end, I thought of it like as if Vivaldi and I are both collaborating on this thing, and I've got this shape. I do all these shapes and I plan stuff out. So I did sometimes it's happier, like a big kind of map of the piece. So it's like me, Vivaldi. I made the shape that made the whole year. It's meant to be a year,
right? And
it's an hour.
So I should do the Adam Buxton thing and now of describing what I'm looking at for the people listening. So Anna's showing me this is like, I'm going to use the crazy term, music paper. The paper that you would write.
Yeah, it's a bit of manuscript paper, but I just had to happen. It's not even really being used for anything musical. It's just like a map. And I do this for every piece I do. I do a little map, but this is a map of the structure of the entire hour-long piece that has basically a bunch of geometric shapes following into each other. So some of them are big triangular building up shapes, and some of them start little and then kind of blossom out and blossom in, and some are just big solid squares, which kind of shows that I want something to feel strong from start to finish. And so it sort of shows the kind of dramatic shape of the entire piece. So by having his pieces, I kind of start to think about what needed to fit alongside it to contrast or like lead into things.
Wow, excellent. And it looks like you've tried to set it on fire here.
Yes, there's been some accidental, looks like bum wiping or something. Something terrible.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. Definitely coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, great. So, is somewhere? I mean, not that I want to see it, but does somewhere the music exist on paper for varmints, for example?
In a much more scrappy way than. Because that only needs to. So the way that I write my electronics is that I do these maps. And then I make a kind of mood board where I still have my map, my timeline, my shape, but I have like what some of the musical ideas might be. It'll be like, here's this chord, or here's this rhythm, or here's, that'll correspond to the shape. And then I'll go to Sibelius, which is like notation software, and I'll put in a bunch of empty bars and put these little bookmarks of those particular moments. Like, here's a big climactic thing, and then I sort of fill in the gaps. So. And then eventually, once I've got the thing sounding good on Sibelius, which is like general MIDI and it sounds absolutely atrocious, then I extract all the MIDI and put it in Ableton. But that's right at the very end.
Right.
So even though it's very electronic music, the bulk of the work happens in the notation stage. Okay. So there is sheet music for everything, but it's quite scrappy because it's not designed for other people to play. So I don't do any of the if I was writing stuff for an orchestra, I have to make sure it looks really nice and it's easy to play or whatever. So I didn't bother doing that for this because I didn't need to.
Okay.
So there is, but it looks really bad.
Right. Okay, fair enough. If an orchestra, say some orchestra somewhere in the world, was a big fan of yours and decided we are going to play varmints as an orchestra, like a sort of. Could you sort of give them?
We've done that quite a lot.
You've done that?
Yeah, we've done varmints in orchestra.
Oh gosh.
So we did it in the QBH.
I've done my research.
Yeah, we've done it a few times in London, and a few festivals, and we did it in the Netherlands, and we've done it in Georgia. We did it in Georgia a little while ago, and we did it in Australia, and anyway, so it's a really nice thing. So
where did you do it in the Netherlands?
Netherlands, we did it a few times. We did it in a festival, like a rock, like a jazzy festival in Groningen, and we did it in somewhere else around there that I can't remember now. And we're doing it again, I think, later this year.
Right.
But that'll be with Fibs and orchestra. But but the is still with band, so it's band and orchestra. So you would still sing? Yeah. Still have the singing bits in it? Yeah, so the guys in my band, because I was too busy / lazy, did the arrangements. So it's still so it's the varmints and Fibs tracks or whatever for orchestra. And they still have click tracks and everything, and the band plays alongside it.
Wow.
And it works well, it's good.
That's cool. I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good. Yeah.
Because like I said, we had a great time doing that with the orchestra. It was something else.
Yeah.
Do you know Jules Buckley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he came and arranged. He picked sort of we kind of and him picked 5-6 finger tracks, and he did the arrangements. And I mean, I couldn't believe how brilliant they were. For us, it was just. I mean, it's quite funny because I did quite a lot of communicating with him while the other guys sort of waited until the moment where we actually arrived for the rehearsals. So I think they were thinking that it was going to be us playing with a bit of ambient orchestral stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got in there and it was just like, whoa, okay, you've made all this incredible music. And Jules had this thing of, because it was a full orchestra. Is that a symphony orchestra? Right? It's a full thing, And he says that, you've got to have the politics of making sure that every member of the orchestra feels like they're sort of doing something. Right. So there was one or two little noises where we kind of went, that sounds a bit Disney. Right. And we went, but we've got to have it in there. Otherwise the piano player won't be happy, kind of thing. So, yeah, which I
don't know if that's really... I mean, I've written quite a lot of orchestral music, and I've quite often players are asking me, please don't write anything for me. I had one guy who was like, I'll buy you drinks if you never write me any music.
No way.
So
why would
because they don't want to play new music. They don't want to play it's much easier to play stuff that they know. So maybe
it was just because of the event itself, right? Because it was like the Queen's Night, which it's now King's Night because there's a king. I think there's a king in Holland now. But it's a kind of bank holiday gig they have every year at the end of April, and it's a special occasion. So maybe it was because he was doing it for that event. He kind of needed to make sure everyone was included. Okay. Anyway, that's what he said.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a nice idea,
right?
And I wish that most players cared that much.
I wanted to go back to sort of pre-varmints.
Yeah.
So one thing that we kind of think about when we're doing this is was there a moment where so you'd had the sort of general idea to make this sort of project. Was there a moment, maybe it was like signing to Moshi Moshi, or maybe it was something else, where you thought, okay, I can actually do this?
No, it's always an evolving goalposty thing, isn't it? Like, you sort of think that it's a thing, and you feel it feels for a very long time like maybe it's not even because I've done the 2 EPs, and the signing Moshi thing never felt like anything formal. It was a kind of evolving, flaky thing.
Did you know them before, or?
No, not before the EPs, but they did the Black Prince Fury was out in 2012.
Yeah.
So it's a long time ago. It was 2013. So I think maybe the big moment felt like the gamble of taking the time to, I had to turn down a lot of work to write varmints, and and I knew it was something I really wanted to make a big part of my life, and I wanted to try and do it properly, and had no idea of what it would be, I knew what it would be, as in I knew what I wanted to write, but I didn't have any idea if it would be a thing that could be sustainable.
Yeah.
And the gamble feels like the kind of, okay, I'm just gonna, not only am I gonna clear my diary, I'm also gonna invest a big ton of money that, to be honest, speaking to someone who's in a band, it's probably not that unusual, but for composers, there's so much infrastructure and funding. Nobody funds their own stuff.
Right.
You wait for your huge amount of money from something else.
Yeah.
Very, very, very supported and overindulged. So that felt like the scary thing. Just being like, I'm gonna just take a little step back from what I normally do.
Are there any people in your band who've been in sort of a ton of indie style bands over the years, or are they all classical?
They all do a mix of stuff. They all do. Nobody's been in like a ton of bands. Jack's been in quite a few bands. Yeah, he has been actually in a lot of bands.
Yeah.
But everyone's always done a bunch of stuff. So all of them have all played in orchestras.
Right,
all of them have done session work. And Sam, the drummer, was in a hip hop comedy troupe for a while. And Jack does music workshops with kids. And so they're all quite. Maddie does a lot of cellists, does a lot of work in theatre. Okay. So they all have quite a kind of portfolio career, sort of pretentious.
Yeah. So now you're kind of a touring force now. You did a ton of gigs for Varmints, yeah.
We did a load 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And then less. Or maybe it was 16, 17. I felt like we did a lot, and then a bit less 18, 19 while we were doing Fibs. Virtually none last year.
Yeah.
A few of these actually became more Varmints and Orchestra. 2018-19 we did Varmints and Orchestra in London and then toured that around quite a bit.
Right.
And then so now we're back on it there touring again this year. Yeah.
So you like it?
It's exhausting.
Right.
And we're about to go to the States for like a month.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah, cool. And driving ourselves around, and it's very small scale. I know it's going to be exhausting, but it's kind of like
that'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I love touring in America. It's unfortunately very expensive to do.
So ruinously expensive, and the fees we've been offered are so shit.
No, of course they would be. But I'm afraid.
Depressing.
Anna and I went on to happily discuss her upcoming tour of North America for a few minutes, but, well, you can probably guess what happened. Yes, that's right, the damn tour was cancelled due to that dastardly virus. So instead of rubbing lemon juice into that particular wound, let's cut straight to the fantasy album game. This is basically, this game is called the Douglas Dare Fantasy Album Binary Choice Game.
Okay.
And
catchy.
What was that?
Very catchy.
Catchy, yeah, I know. I'm going to work out some acronym for it at some point. What this is basically is we're going to build an album.
Okay.
And it's forgetting for the moment, say you decided that all your band were either rubbish or they were all busy. So you can make this completely with a new, completely different attitude.
Yeah.
So we're going to decide various things what you're going to do on this album, and I'm going to give you two options.
Okay.
And you have to choose one, even if you either hate both or love both, and you can't bear to say goodbye to one.
Fine.
So we'll start with, where is this album going to be recorded?
Yeah.
And you have a choice of Tbilisi, Georgia.
Yeah.
Or see, I've done my homework.
Yeah.
Or Chennai, India.
Oh right. Oh, they were both splendid, but I really love Tbilisi.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely go back. Great food as well.
Really?
Amazing, beautiful scenery, great food.
I've heard great
nice
things
people.
about it.
My brother lived there for a few years.
Oh wow.
Before we went back to do the orchestra project with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Everyone should go to Tbilisi. Brilliant.
Amazing. Yeah. So I'd love to. We haven't actually got that far east yet, but in sort of the European thing. But okay, that's good. So Tbilisi, that's decisive. You've got a pen.
I do.
And I'm going to mark your choices on, and we can recap at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. The second one is it's going to be produced by someone other than yourself.
Oh, stressful.
So you can choose between Kate Bush and John Hopkins.
Ooh. That's really difficult. I met John Hopkins the first time a few weeks ago, and I'd never met him before.
He's a cool dude.
He seems really cool, but then Kate Bush is Kate Bush.
Yeah, exactly.
And she might. I'm gonna say John.
Okay.
Because he seemed really nice, and I bet Kate's too busy to do it anyway. So, and I think he seemed like he might do. And I'm not doing Kate. Back to Kate.
Oh no, that's Kate.
Just because I think she might make me do stuff.
Right.
Yeah, different stuff.
I can see the benefits of that of Kate, because you can imagine her probably, turning some of your thoughts on their heads. But whereas John Hopkins, I can imagine it would be brilliant.
Yeah.
But see, I was also almost going to suggest him as a possible songwriting collaborator, which is the next question.
Oh, okay.
But
the thing is, I don't want to collaborate with anybody. No.
This is it. I thought I had a funny feeling you might say that.
I don't want to produce with anybody else. I'm puppet master.
For the purposes of this, you have to.
Have to, right.
So you are to choose between Jim Steinman.
Don't know who that is.
Meatloaf.
Okay, like Meatloaf.
He wrote the songs for Meatloaf.
Oh, he wrote songs for Meatloaf.
He wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler.
Oh, that's one of my faves.
And a few other Celine Dion songs.
Oh, right, okay, great.
Or Goldie.
Oh, no, I've worked with Goldie.
I know.
First one. And, I know what working with Goldie's like. He's great, but I think I'd get more out of Bonnie and Tyler at this point in my life.
Cool, okay. Bonnie Tyler, Jim Steinman.
That kind of ballad. So I'm up for a ballad.
Well, also, Jim Steinman likes his sort of long, multi kind of stage pieces.
Yeah, right.
He's pretty cool like that.
Okay.
So, but he's I don't know if I could say this, but he's apparently a bit of a nutcase.
Oh.
But that could have its benefits.
That could be fun in a recreational way.
Yeah. All right, so now you have to choose drummer.
Okay.
So you can have either Sheila E. off of Prince.
Okay.
Or Lars Ulrich from Metallica.
No, Metallica.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Need the balls.
Okay.
Not the literal balls, the musical balls.
He's a fascinating guy,
Is
I must admit. Well, I've never met him, but
No.
He's... Yeah, I can imagine him being interesting, for sure. Right, bass. We'll rattle on.
Oh my god, this is quite stressful.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know any of these people.
Huh?
I don't know any of these people.
Oh, you'll know one of these.
Okay.
Tina Weymouth from Talking Heads.
Okay.
Or John Taylor from Duran Duran.
Oh, John Taylor. Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So you're something of a Duran fan.
A bit, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently they came to my gig the other week.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, all of them?
Who came? Two of them.
Oh my god.
Who would it be? Maybe it was John and Simon Bond.
My god, really?
Yeah.
In London?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I know, amazing.
Did you say hi?
No, I don't know they're there.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
I know, pretty cool.
Do you think they came because they've heard you banging on about Duran Duran?
I think it might be that.
Really?
Like, please shut up. I mean, I basically just love Notorious as that one song. I mean, I love lots of Duran Duran, but I'm obsessed with Notorious.
Okay, on guitar...
I think this band is feeling quite conventional. I don't know if I would write for guitar and bass and drums.
Yeah, I know. This is it. But then I'm assuming that you're going to be doing the keys and the synths and the so forth.
Yeah, but where's like the other instruments?
Well, you know what? The reason I didn't pick any of those is because I don't know any.
Okay, well, I mean, this is your strict
I don't
rules.
know the cellists.
Okay.
Well, maybe you can still have your band.
Oh, they can come in. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So on guitar, you have to choose between Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr.
Right.
or St. Vincent.
St. Vincent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Sounds like a great band.
Yeah. Well, with the addition of St. Vincent, suddenly it becomes pretty
suddenly
amazing.
it becomes from potentially quite 80s tribute to... And I mean, she'd make anything cool.
Right.
Frankly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, so two more. The first single is the video of the first single is to be directed by...
Oh my god. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. Or the Aardman Animation Studio.
Oh, that's really difficult.
Have you seen the videos they did for Peter Gabriel?
No.
Okay, just that. I mean, that's pre Wallace and Gromit and all
really?
that. Yeah.
I bet
check out the Sledgehammer video.
I think I have seen Sledgehammer video. Definitely Aardman. I mean, you'd be daft not to.
I think that would be amazing, actually, for your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Chris Nolan with that whole sort of intercept.
The darkness is quite cool.
The darkness and also the streets suddenly going...
These are all very good options. You've chosen very well.
Oh, thank you. Well, one more. This is a bit of a weird one. The album launch gig / party is to be held either halfway across Forth Bridge.
Nice.
Now, having written that and then I thought about it, I don't know where...
Not very practical.
That's the thing. They're meant to be
nice
kind
in
of...
concept, but...
Well, maybe it would be on a boat. Like,
I see.
In the middle.
Yeah, still looks quite unpleasant. Tell me the other one.
The other one is in the forest in Vlieland in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah. I too have been there.
That festival, really nice, right?
Was it into the Great Wide Open?
Yeah. It was. I love that festival, but for sheer drama in the middle of the Forth.
Okay.
So there's this boat called the Maid of the Forth, which is what you like the tourist boat that kind of, because it's actually quite an industrial river. It's like oily and tankers everywhere, and I think that'd be quite a fun party.
Is it red? The bridge?
One of the bridges is red, and it's hugely over-constructed. There'd been a big train disaster on another bridge a few years before, or 10 years before or something, and it meant that when they were designing the construction for it, they completely like overcompensated it, and it's so, it's beautiful Forth Bridge, but it's really like over-engineered.
Right.
And red.
And red, yeah.
Yeah.
So Maid of the Forth, is that MAID?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Maid of the Forth.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's good. We've got our options. So I'm just going to recap.
Yes.
So you're going to be recording in Tbilisi, Georgia.
Yeah, no brainer.
With Kate Bush on production duties.
Of course.
You're going to do a couple of tracks with Jim Steinman, songwriting collabs.
Lovely.
You're going to have a band consisting of Lars Ulrich from Metallica on drums.
Brilliant.
On bass, you're going to have John Taylor from Duran Duran with his T-Bones. And on guitar, St. Vincent.
Yes.
The first single is going to be directed by the Aardman's Animation Studio, and the album launch gig is going to be on the Maid of the Forth, in the middle of the Forth.
Actually, I'm very excited about it.
Cool.
I can't wait.
Maybe some of those will actually come true.
Wow, okay, thanks. I feel quite excited about my glorious future.
Right.
Wow.
That's great.
What a combo, thanks.
Oh, nice one. Well, that was good.
Very good.
That worked.
Yeah, very good.
You say you're dancing in the deep end, but to me it looks like drowning. All this talk is saving, but I'm out of my depth. You say you're turning on the tightrope, but to me it looks like falling. All this talk is saving, so I best watch my step. You say you're trying to fan the fire, but to me it looks like burning. All this talk is saving, I'm not holding my breath.
There's another one, the sort of traditional question that we ask, which I'm not entirely sure how appropriate it would be for you, but the thing is, you get some decent radio play on Six Music, so you're not unused to having a sort of radio hit-ish in some respects.
Right,
So this is what we call the level 42 question.
Okay.
Do you remember level 42?
And is that Red Wine?
No, that's UB40.
Oh, I always get them confused.
Okay.
What's level 42 song?
Level 42 did Running in the Family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? A very old boyfriend. I think I've been to see them years and years. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's like Living in the Family.
Yeah. Well, they were the first band I ever saw, actually. So the interesting thing about level 42, and regular listeners to this podcast will be so bored now of hearing me just explain what this question means.
Right.
Anyway, what they did, they formed in about 1980, and they had a couple of albums that were sort of doing all right, good touring, but very much on the kind of jazz funk scene. And then they sat down with each other and they said, right, lads, we need to hit pay dirt. We need to deliberately write some hit singles.
Smash hits.
Yeah. So they did. They actually went from the whole songwriting process to production to everything with the express aim of having a hit single.
Right.
And it succeeded. They had 5-6 whopping great hit singles. They went up to arena level, and it was all good.
Wow.
So the question is, would you do that?
I think I know already that I'm not good at writing music that, I can't write in anybody else's style, or, when I've been asked to do film stuff and, if someone said, maybe this bit sounds a bit like Michael Nyman, I cannot do it.
Okay.
I can only really sound like myself. And even in terms of so on Fibs, one song, Inhale Exhale, I was like, this is an absolute pop banger. This has got Radio 1, big weekend in Skegness written all over it. Here we go, chart-topping success. And it did get playlisted, but it didn't get anywhere near as much radio play as the big gnarly long 7-minute crazy instrumentals. So
isn't that funny?
Yeah. And I think it's maybe because what people think that I do. But I think that I do the whole spectrum of stuff. But yeah, I thought I'd written a really good pop song.
So which one is that?
It's called Inhale Exhale.
And that's not the first single that came off?
No, the first one's called Paramore. That's a video with the train.
Yeah.
The Inhale Exhale has a video with the car wash.
Okay. Yes, I remember.
It's me singing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a really good pop song, if I say so myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I've just sort of stopped. I think that was a good lesson in. Well, I didn't write Inhale Exhale with that brief, but when I finished it, I thought,
right,
absolutely smash this.
Yeah.
And I think it's a grower. I think people come back to it and be like, oh, actually, that's really good. But it didn't. So no, probably.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we've had a range of different responses to this. Some people are like, why would I ever want to do that? And quite a lot of the producers that we've spoken to are like, well, yeah, of course.
Right.
That's kind of what we do all the time.
Yeah.
And then a chap who produced our last record, Flood, he was like, no, I don't care what's on the radio.
Right.
And so it's a funny one. But I think everyone is basically of the view that you could try and do it. Yeah. But you have no
control.
way.
I think maybe that's kind of what I'm saying, that I've, with all this stuff, the things, anything that you think, you can think I'm really proud of this thing and I hope people listen to it, but thinking that you're going to get any particular amounts of, especially now when there's so many platforms and streaming and competition, and it's also viral. I think maybe things were a bit different, that you had your one place to get your radio or whatever, I don't know, and maybe there's more money floating about, I have no idea, but it definitely...
Well, I think there wasn't there? I mean, back... Yeah. But I mean, again, it was. I mean, because you were watching Top of the Pops and so on when you were younger, right? I mean, that was the place. Yeah. So everyone who had any kind of success had to do Top of the Pops. Yeah. As you say, it was like the filter through which everyone went. But now, I mean, it's kind of both better and worse, isn't it? Yeah. There's loads of places, and obviously you can stream shit in loads of places, and you can be just doing live gigs, and it feels like it's very hard to make money off your and most of my classical pals and contacts have this idea that there's like something like the 90s, that there's this like record deals with golden checks floating around the place, and the reality is really it's not like that at all. It's very hard. But even the radio play stuff, things that you might think, got all this radio play, and it doesn't ever translate into anything. Oh, you really, one person might hear a track in the middle of Radio 3 in the middle of the night and love it and get in touch just as much as the 10 people that might hear something. I don't know, this doesn't feel like, even the things that you think might be really big game-changing deals, I don't know how much difference they actually make, or they don't seem to translate into anything. Like, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think that, obviously, well, not obviously, but I am a big Six Music listener. Right. So to me, they've almost kind of formed their own world in which one can be successful, So there's like, for example, I always use this example of The National have a song called Blood Buzz Ohio, which I'm sure that if you put that on the sound system in any room full of kind of Six Music-ish people, and every single person would know it. It's like it's played so much. So, because it's a hit in its own way. Yeah. But I don't think it got into the charts. I don't think so. The hit single has become something different now. But obviously, it would help fill their gigs up and help. Yeah, and it's defined. But that ubiquitousness on Six Music will be defined by a panel of producers, radio producers, rather than anything to do with sales or anything, which is at once good because it gives smaller people a chance, and scary because you feel like it's relying on such uncontrollable parameters. Yeah. Have you done Roundtable? Yeah, a few times. Okay. Yeah, terrifying. Really? Yeah, I've been on Roundtable as I've been judged, and I've been a judge 2 or 3 times now. Sure. And I don't really like being critical of other people. It really hurts me when people are critical, and I find it very difficult. It's very much, I think I recall, quite fence-sitting, giving everybody nice comments and marks. I think I've been quite lucky in all the ones I've done. There's been one thing I've absolutely adored. Right. And so I've been able to quite genuinely, because I didn't, normally don't know any of the music of the people before. And so, I obviously listen to it, but it's not like in context with the rest of their work. But it's nice to have something genuinely that you can gush about. Yeah. I think the most often used phrase on Roundtable is, well, this isn't the kind of thing I would normally listen to.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not for me, and also it's not made for me.
Right, oh, that's interesting.
A lot of people, well, they're not thinking about people like me when they make this
Right.
record, So. Another thing that we sometimes ask is that, so these kind of things that happen in a career where things kind of go well, and you have your albums that do all right, and then the touring gets better and so forth. But what I wonder if there's anything that's changed, as in something that's ostensibly a good thing, but there has been a negative impact in some ways.
Yeah.
So you kind of thought, well.
I mean, the obvious one, which is not very fun, but it's definitely true, is being like, my life-work balance is absolutely fucked.
Okay.
And there's so much going on, and there's so many things happening at the moment, and it feels like I'm constantly in the naive idea that if I just work really hard, that I'll be able to then catch up with it all and stop. And I feel like I'm just like treading water the whole time of projects and plans and things that are coming in, and it's great, and obviously it's an incredibly jammy position to be in, to have this much stuff afoot, but it definitely also feels like, and I find it incredibly hard to like switch off and read a book. Can't read books anymore, and that's really sad. And on holidays I'm like a nightmare, like pacing around trying to constantly bellowing, what's the plan for the day? I can't seem to just like let stuff just happen. So.
But do you think you strike me as someone who'd be like that anyway.
A bit, but not as much. Like I used to be like, I just procrastinate a lot more.
Yeah.
And now I can't really afford to procrastinate quite as much. I miss the procrastination those days.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm pretty anxious, and I would be a bit of a nightmare anyway. But I definitely feel like I see friends a lot less, and feel like I have to be on call a lot more than I used to, which is a bit shit.
Do you ever think what would have happened if you'd not done this other kind of...
I suppose, like, I feel like where I was at when I was just doing commissioned work, the path ahead was looking pretty straightforward.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, like I could have definitely just kept going.
Yeah.
The kind of work I was getting, I would have hoped might have generated then more equivalent work like that. Yeah, I think the problem, is that there's a much slower gestation to all these like classical pieces. That my friend's writing an opera just now, and he's been writing it for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And it will be played 3 or 4 times, and then and it's like a huge big it's a huge thing to write. It's hours and hours long. But I am not very good at. I think I'd struggle. I did write an opera, but I find that just the size of it is so daunting.
Yeah. Do you have to pick words for that as well?
For an opera, no, you work with a librettist.
Okay.
So I work with this guy, Philip. You know Philip Ridley?
No.
He's like a screenwriter and poet. And he did The Craze. Anyway, great writer. So someone match made us.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't really know where to begin. But for opera, you normally work with a librettist.
Yeah.
Which I guess is different to songwriting, where people tend to do it themselves, which is kind of a strange distinction.
Well, I guess they do now. I suppose you had lyricists like the Bernie Taupin kind of person who works with Elton John.
Right, okay.
So I suppose that does, but it's
less common though, isn't it? Is it?
It is. Yeah. Certainly now, I think. Certainly these days, they tend to sort of. Funnily enough, I writing lyrics is my least favourite bit of writing.
Isn't it horrible?
Absolutely hate it.
In a way, just maybe bands should get work with. I don't know.
But you do your own lyrics.
I do, because the autonomy of the thing feel like it's in the same way that I'm not the best singer, but it feels much more important that it's me singing, because this is my thing, and therefore I want to be responsible for everything. Hence, all the production, all the writing, all the it wants to feel like I'm all over. Other stuff, like collaborating with filmmakers or whatever. But band stuff or album stuff, I don't really.
It sounds very appropriate to the rest of the stuff that's going on. So the first couple of times I think that I thought that there was someone else singing right up until I saw you live.
Right.
I think so, because I remember when you started singing and I was like, oh, and I think it was maybe I thought that might be the case, but but it does really help that the fact that the whole band sing. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, don't they? That's a really strong effect, I think, live.
Yeah, it is nice. It's all, and we did this gig we've just finished a tour and with the new stuff, and we do not in festivals but in our own shows we do a cover to finish the show. So we did a medley, which was really fun.
Cool. What did you do?
And it's always like really cheesy.
Yeah.
And so in the past we've done Enter Sandman and like 500 Miles.
Yeah.
And so this one started with Daniel Bedingfield's Got to Get Through This, and then moved on to ABBA's Lay Your Love on Me, and then on to Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe, and then into Ozone's Dragonstad Today, and then the Crystal Maze. So it's like a little medley, and each of us gets to do a bit.
Oh, cool.
So each of them sings a little solo.
I wish I'd seen that.
It was really fun.
Yeah. Brilliant. So you're obviously an ABBA fan then?
I love ABBA.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't listen to it very much, but I think it's great songwriting.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand why people don't like it. Some people don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think they've been listening hard enough.
Right. Sure, Dancing Queen's is annoying, it's overplayed.
Right.
But,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
But there's loads of really beautiful songs.
Definitely. And also, Douglas Dare, who I spoke to last week, he said that actually what you can do when you sing an ABBA song is you can sing the lyrics and the melody, but you can also sing the keyboard part, or you could sing the guitar part.
Right.
It's all catchy, it's all singable.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's right. I mean, it's just like, everything's good, chunky, memorable riffs.
Yeah.
I think they're great. Definitely.
Brilliant. That's cool. Thank you very much.
No
for doing
worries.
this.
Thanks
It's been
for coming.
it's been great to talk to you.
Oh, thank you for asking me.
No worries.
Forecast failing. The heat they said would sweep the land has failed to touch the cold that lines the sides of these four walls with goodwill trailing, and all our money running out. What seemed a good idea has fast become a fraying waste of time. Sunset staring was meant to be this nice idea. It's not the moment that we hope. We check our phones, our eyes can't meet. Brainstorm sharing could be the story that we tell ourselves to dam the flood and wash away the ledges that we built.
There we are, Anna Meredith. My thanks to her for the conversation. I'd also like to thank her manager, Rachel, for making it happen. I've just glanced at Anna's website to see when she'll be touring again. Like the rest of the live music universe, it seems all a bit up in the air right now, but next time she and the band play near you, whenever that may be, I highly recommend seeing them because they're a visual and musical feast like few others. Thanks very much for listening. Remember to subscribe, leave us a rating or review, spread the word and so forth. We'll be back with another episode in a couple of weeks.
Time